grade Shurley method, page 10, part 2, and we're going to do exercises 3 through 5 today. So exercise 3, identify each pair of words as a synonym or antonym, putting parentheses around synonym or and. Okay, now what I would like you guys to do is circle these, right? It's a little bit easier for me to determine what you're picking as your answer. Broad, wide, are those synonyms or antonyms? Synonyms, because they mean the same thing, right? Okay, you guys are going to do 8 and 9 for homework. Okay, exercise 4, write each sentence, fill in the blanks according to the titles, and underline the correct verb in the sentence. For rule 1, a singular subject must use a singular verb form that ends in s. So is, was, has, does, or verbs ending with s or es. Rule 2, a plural subject, a compound subject, or the subject you must use a plural verb that has no s ending. Are, were, do, have, or verbs without s or es ending. Okay, so those honey bees, so what's our subject? Well, honey is actually the adjective, right? So bees is our subject. So bees, is that singular or plural? Plural. So we're going to use rule number 2, and rule number 2 says to use what? Don't use s or es, right? So those honey bees make wonderful honey. Okay. Her pencils with blue lead. So what is our subject? Pencils. Singular or plural? Plural. So rule number 2. So we pick something without an s. So her pencils write with blue lead. Tom blanked the spaghetti at school. So what is our subject? Tom. And is that singular or plural? Singular. So rule number 1. So we have an s or an es. Tom likes the spaghetti at school. Those ants blank working hard. What is our subject? Ants. Is that singular or plural? Plural. So rule number 2. So it does end, it doesn't end with an s or an es, right? So those ants are working hard. Okay. So you guys are going to do 14, 15, 16. So basically, if the subject has an s, then your verb is not going to have an s, right? If the subject doesn't end with an s, then you're probably going to pick one that a verb that does. Okay. Exercise 5. Use the editing guide below each sentence to know how many capitalization and punctuation errors to correct. For sentence 1, write the capitalization and punctuation rule numbers for each correction in bold. For sentence 2, write the capitalization and punctuation corrections. Use the capitalization and punctuation rule pages to get the correct rule numbers. And those pages are in your Shurley method folder. They're the orange pages, right? Okay. And then they are pages 112, 113, and 114. So that's where you get the rule. So, Mrs., what rule tells us to capitalize the beginning of a sentence? What is rule number 1 say? Okay, so we're going to put a number 1 above here. There is one other rule for this. What says to capitalize the abbreviation of a title? Okay, what does rule 9 say? Okay, so Mr., Mrs., right? Okay, so we're also going to put 9 in parentheses because that's another one we need there. Okay, so we have this period here. Does anybody know what? Let's just do actually the capitalizations first, then we'll go to punctuation. Okay, so what about the capital of the last name? What does number 7 say? So use for last names that have a capital. Okay, so 7. Okay, goes with the capital S. What about Mr.? What did we just say, guys? We did that one already. Nope, that was the beginning of a sentence. So number 9. Okay, last name again capitalized is a number 7. Miss is what?
Is 9.
Is a 9. Because that is a title, right? Okay. Wilson is the last name. What was that? 7. Okay. And then now we have Jefferson High School. So capitalization of a place. Okay, what does 17 say? Okay, so that is the name of a school, right? Okay, so number 17. Okay, now we're going to look at the punctuation. So we just looked at capitalization rules. Punctuation rules are 26A and 26B, right? So you need to turn the page, and that's going to be 113 and 114. Okay, so let's see, the period after Mrs. Okay, number 16, what does that say?
Use the period after the rest of the abbreviations or titles that are accepted in formal writing.
Okay, so this is an abbreviation, right? Or of a title. Okay. What about Smith? Oh, we already did Smith. Sorry. What about the comma? So the comma is doing what? Is listing, right? Okay. So what's the comma? Number 9. What does number 9 say? Okay, so a comma to separate words or phrases in a sentence. So number 9 would go down here. Okay. What about the Mr. part? The period in Mr. That's a number what? 16 again. This comma is a what? Number 9. Okay. And then the only other punctuation we had is our end mark. Anybody know what that period would be labeled as?
1.
Number 1. Okay, what does number 1 say?
Usually,
Okay, so use a period at the end of a sentence or a statement. Okay, so that's kind of how you label them, and then you would use these reference pages to help you identify what would need to be capitalized in a sentence or have correct punctuation. Okay, let's look at the next one. Number 2. Dad, I think I'll go to Dave's house to study for my Spanish test. So they tell us we need 5 capitals, 1 comma, 2 apostrophes, and 1 end mark. So what needs to be capitalized here? So Dad, what needs to be after Dad? Something before then.
capitalization.
You need a comma because you're addressing Dad, right? Okay, so Dad, and then I needs to be what? Capitalized. Guys, my pen isn't. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Okay, so we have Dad capitalized. We have the comma. We have I capitalized, which, like I said, it's getting hard to get that written in there. It's not wanting to write it. Okay, so then we have think. I'll has what? Capitalized. And it needs what? An apostrophe. Go to Dave's. Dave's needs to be capitalized. So we could also do this, guys, and just put a D up here, an I up here, an I up here to show capitalization, a D up here to show capitalization, and then we set an apostrophe with Dave's, right?
Mm-hmm.
How to study for my Spanish? What needs to happen with Spanish? Capitalized Spanish. Test. And what needs to be at the end? Okay. And like I said, the board doesn't really like that. But all right. So you guys, once again, are going to do 8, 9, 14, 15, and 16 for homework.